Hello everyone, Kevvl here once again. I've just received word that Storm Owl is attempting to create a diversion to draw our attention away from more important things. Ha! I will not be distracted. I'll teach him to trick me. We're fighting Storm Owl next. He's captain of the Air Force and one of the most successful generals, not only for his resourcefulness, but also because he regards all of his soldiers as family. One thing I like about this guy is the fact that despite being one of the very few Mavericks with a buster, he never uses it and it never retracts back into his arm. All of his attacks come from his other hand. Go figure. Storm Owl's got a lot of attacks, but the one we're concerned with is the double Cyclone. Most of the stage is, well, really high in the air. These are Metal Hawks. I guess they're kind of like the tanks of the Air Force. Keep your distance when taking them out, because they have plasma shots and kind of difficult to avoid missiles. Now this is one of the best ride armors in the game. You can hover for extended periods, fire homing shots, fall down pits. It's almost cheating to use that. These are plasma cannons. Don't be fooled by the name, they also shoot missiles. And these are Giga Death. They kind of look like fish to me. Walk shooters. They can walk, jump, and shoot, so I guess the name is again a bit misleading. And be quick there, otherwise you're going to have to deal with the... well, basically you won't get your heart tank if you're not fast enough. Take out the Metal Hawk. And another plasma cannon, which I only managed to get a few shots on. There's the missiles. The reason I gained health was because of the heart tank from earlier. Heart tanks don't fill up any area health anymore. Mindful of the walk shooter plasma cannon combo. And especially be careful of these walk shooters, because there are a lot of them, and right behind them is a Giga Death. Fish thing. You can shoot in between their missiles, so be careful on that. Or at least, not really be careful, but take heed of that and shoot them accordingly. Whoa, that was close. And there's the plasma shots. Moving forward to Section 2 of the stage. This one's a lot easier. There's only one enemy type and a mini-boss. And the mini-boss only attacks using that one enemy type again. Shoot quickly to take out these. They're called hover cannons. Beam cannons, sorry. They hover. They only take 2 shots to kill, and they're extremely predictable and easy to avoid because they don't move at all. Mindful of the spikes. And get across there. There's definitely not a secret up there. We'll get that in the extras. Now it's time for, I guess you could call it a mid-boss, but it's really more of just a mini-boss or a sub-boss. Because this is the last enemy we have to fight, and it doesn't really shoot at us. Similar to Crush Crawfish's stage, we're basically just destroying the thing we're on. It's got a little eye that'll open up, and it doesn't ever attack, it just uses the beam cannons to kill. So basically, very, very easy. Just makes me wish I could shoot more than 2 times accurately in the midair. I got my controller set up classic style, so jumping and shooting isn't too easy because I'm only using my thumb. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. I don't know what the screen in the background is supposed to be showing. It's got like text or numbers, but none of them ever appear to be full-on numbers, so I don't know. All I know is there's a flying whale going back there. And we're almost done. There we go. That was the last enemy we have to fight before the boss. Now everything's destroyed, but we don't have a time limit or anything. Full health if you need it. And the boss fight. Storm Owl. Show off.
How dare you destroy my unit! You'll pay for this with your life!
He looks so elegant and cool. For the most part in this fight, you want to stay on top. Almost all of his attacks are easier to dodge from the top, except for this one. Although that looks like a whole bunch of feather beams, he's only actually firing 3 of them off at you. Or at least 3 from each arc pattern. You can shoot them, and they'll just kind of go away, leaving the trail to disappear. I prefer to shoot as I'm heading down to avoid them, because it gives me a bit more time to move out of the way. His little Cyclone attack is easy to avoid. And his... I don't know if his hitbox actually gets bigger when you shoot him, but he's got a very fancy design for that. You've just seen everything you need to know to avoid all of his attacks in the beginning. It's actually quite easy in the very beginning. The middle is the hardest part of this fight. The whole fight takes a really long time because he doesn't set himself up for very many openings. Just get in shots when you can, but don't get greedy. Focus on avoiding. This is a very precision-based fight. All of your moves must be fairly precise and fairly fast. Also, switch sides whenever he moves, so that you're always on the opposite side of where he'll enter. That way you have extra time to move. And get very used to moving up and down these platforms. Get good at it. The top platform is actually fairly hard to get up. And since you'll be having to do that a lot in almost no time, get used to it. He should be about at half health, so we might see his second attack shortly. Although I'd hope not, because it's probably his hardest to avoid. Whoa! He switched sides there on me. More feathers. Don't think you can just sit in the same level as the feathers and shoot them. It's not actually safe to do so. And here's the difficult one. Homing Cyclone. Jump out of the way at just the right time. Whew. Again, I prefer to stay on top there, but if it gets too crowded, feel free to go to the bottom. Whatever is safer. Whoa! Oh, crud. He has a lunging attack where he'll grab you and slam you down, but it's pretty easy to avoid, and it'll only happen when you're above him. When heading down to avoid that, I prefer to shoot a few times, just to give myself more time to avoid the shots. And dodging now! Once he gets down to about yellow health, he'll start doing a few different attacks, but he'll always be able to use his other ones. So right around now, he can use everything. Still got the feathers, he'll still have the homing Cyclone, and he'll have this one, where he basically just calls a hurricane. If he starts heading towards the center, get to the right, and slowly move around to avoid his desperation attack. Ironically, this is when you can get the most hits on him, and it's also the easiest of his attacks to avoid. Just don't move too fast or too slow. Whoa! Too close there. More whirlwinds. Careful, because he likes to rush right to where you are after that. And more desperation attack. Knowing my luck, this will probably be where he dies. Aww. Oh, come on now. You only have 2 hits to die. Come on, Kevvl, don't screw up now. 1 hit. Okay, he's dead. Ha ha ha. Lots of precision in that fight. It's easy to dodge all of his attacks, or at least it's easy to dodge each of his attacks, but it's difficult to dodge all of his attacks, especially the homing Cyclone. And we're teleporting out of here because this ship is probably going to crash soon. Killing Storm Owl gives us the double Cyclone. Fires vacuum cyclones left and right, most effective when surrounded by enemies and against skyborne enemies. Basically what it does is he fires 2 of those cyclone orbs that Storm Eagle was using in a sort of an arcing pattern upwards. Let's save over this one. Doesn't really matter. Charged up, he fires off 2 cyclones on either side of him, which do massive damage. Think Storm Eagle's weapon, except in both directions. Now there are quite a few outtakes, although a lot less than I expected. I think I over-practiced this fight. And there are in fact extras, that spiky area namely. So, enjoy that!
I'm going to join the Air Force today. I don't care what the neighbors may say, but I'm going to join the Air Force today. today.
Alright, extras time. Now for this, you need the lightning web. And some very difficult jumping. Okay, that was difficult. You can charge up to 4 blasts at a time with this arm module. It takes a while to charge, but you can fire a charge shot at any time you so wish with it. This arm module is also changeable. Enter this capsule to change parts. You see, we're given a choice here. The first part, you see, which is probably the worst of the two, allows you to charge up 4 shots, like Dr. Light said. You can fire them at any time, whenever you want. Although it is interesting to note that simply releasing the button will not fire anything off. You have to press it again. The second part is over here. With this arm part, you can fire the plasma shot, which is effective against stronger enemies. If the shot hits the opponent, plasma is generated, which will cause additional damage to the enemy.
This arm module is also changeable. Enter this capsule to change parts.
This is my personal favorite, the plasma shot. Additionally, it's probably the part that's canon. In X5, you get the 4th armor, and you have this weapon, although it's colored a bit differently. No, Dr. Light, I don't want to talk to you again. Go away. Now, to demonstrate what the plasma shot can do, we actually have to fight something. Assuming I can get down here safely. Whoa, I did it! That was impressive, okay. We're gonna fight the Generade Core again. I actually think I forgot to mention what its name was last time. Do you see how powerful this thing is? This is why I love this attack. It does a boatload of damage. Especially to mid-bosses. Whoa, that was close. Alright, now let's move on to the outtakes. During most of my recordings, the sound was slightly lower, so some of the outtakes may have reduced game volume, but my voice is still the same height. Enjoy! Try and take it out from a distance. That way you don't have to meet up with its missiles that just hit me. This is a plasma cannon, and I totally missed firing him. He's got missiles. Kinda hard to dodge missiles. These are walk shooters. Jump over this one, grab yourself a heart container. And more of the blue things, which hit me with a missile. Move quickly because that spaceship thing is shooting me with missiles. Mindful of the missiles. Try not to go far. Oh, dash failure. Don't just dash straight into it, because there is that Giga Death there. And aw. We're going into the heart of the Air Force Base, with these new enemy types, which, did I not shoot fast enough? Jump up. I must say, he doesn't usually use it this much, but yo, darn it. I guess when he uses it 5 times in the same match, I'm bound to get hit at once. This one was actually very difficult for me to rate. I practiced like mad and never once succeeded during my practice runs. When I actually started recording, I had very few problems and only about 30 outtakes total, a fairly low number in the grand scheme of things. I'll do my best to rate Storm Owl fairly, because he is in fact quite difficult overall. I give Storm Owl a 7 out of 10. He's definitely hard, but the difficulty is a different style than every enemy I've faced so far. It's not about reflexes like Flame Stag, it's not about timing like Volt Catfish, and it's definitely not about luck like Sting Chameleon. It's about precision. All of his attacks give you a fairly decent window of time to predict and avoid, and there's no randomness to any of it. The problem is that there's an extremely small window of opportunity on where to avoid. The trick to fighting Storm Owl is finding the sweet spot as quickly as possible and rushing to it. The stage is, like the boss, all about precision. I've heard X4 described as planning. You have to plan your route beforehand, and I've noticed that so far with Cyber Peacock and Frost Walrus. This stage is the pinnacle of that theme. Every action must be pre-planned to successfully run through the stage. Every dodge must be precise to avoid Storm Owl's attacks. Once you've got that precision down, the only worrisome part is really the homing Cyclone, which is still a massive mixture of luck, timing, and precision. Most of my outtakes on Storm Owl during my practice runs were from that. Too bad they weren't recorded. All in all, though, it's a very fun stage. I love Storm Owl's design, even if he has a useless buster, and I really love the stage overall. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you tune in next time. This is Kevvl, signing off. Ciao!